Ginza here with another Funko Pop review, and this time it is Jessica Jones, one of my favorite female characters in the Marvel Universe. Like, I love Jessica Jones. I think she's so cool. This is kind of interesting in that there's not a lot of characters here. I mean, I say interesting, but actually kind of disappointing. So it's just Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and that's it. And it's like, really? You couldn't have, Patsy Walker or Purple Man? Like, that wouldn't you... I mean, do they make a Purple Man already, so they didn't feel the need to include him here? I don't know. There's so many pops. I can't keep track of them all, but I kind of feel like you're missing some characters to the Jessica Jones universe. So I guess they just figured, let's just go with the two most popular or whatever. But I would really like a Hellcat figure. That would be kind of neat. I like Hellcat. So let's go ahead and open her up and take a look. Take a closer look. She looks pretty good from here already, but let's go ahead and open it. Okay, as usual, there's not really like accessories, but there's usually always a little stand. It's always different. I don't know what it is where they don't just have the same stand with the same peg and the same size peg holes on the same foot, and just have some kind of like standard like across the board instead of, I don't know, just I don't know why they do that. It doesn't bother me or anything like that. I just think it's weird that they don't just have like a universal like peg stand system, whatever you want to call it. It's always something different. Anyway, Jessica Jones is, because she's a Marvel character, of course, she is a bobblehead or wobblehead or whatever the name they've given it. I just always call it bobblehead, which I like, I guess. And the thing about it is that I feel like if you start messing with it and tapping it, that the head always just starts to turn in one direction or the other. She's already kind of looking off to the side, and that was just from me taking it out of the package. So it's always like these bobbleheads are possessed, and they're always trying to like spin their head around, so you just have all these tiny little like exorcist Marvel characters, and it's always like a real I'm not trying to make a pun, but it's always a pain in the neck to get them to turn back around. But I guess it's neat, or I guess it's just something that they have to do. I would sort of prefer they didn't. That just leads to more complications. But there we go. I think she looks really great. I mean, I'm going to be biased. I probably like her no matter what. Here you can see on mine, there's like some paint got on her shirt. Some silver paint from the zipper. Actually, if we zoom in here, you can see there's actually like the zipper is kind of sculpted, or it has ridges anyway, and then the jacket kind of has some texturing to it, so it looks more like a leather jacket. I think that is a very nice touch. She has her scarf. Kind of wish maybe her scarf was a different color, or maybe her shirt was a different color, just so it wasn't so gray. She's got her fingerless gloves because she's super cool. All the cool kids wear fingerless gloves. Jessica Jones has such cool superhero attire that it's always very casual. It's always the same thing. It's always like leather jacket and jeans. But something that's really neat here, and maybe, I don't know, I guess maybe I'm reading too much into it, whatever, but see, you don't get a whole lot of expression from Funko Pop faces. The most expressive part of a human's face are the eyes, and usually that's kind of how humans recognize faces is the eyes and so on. Because Funko Pops have these big black shark eyes, it's kind of hard to get some expression out of them. Usually it's whatever they do with the eyebrows, and if they're not going to be angry or something like that, then they just kind of have like a very plain face. So you then got to rely on whatever pose that the figure is in to try and get some personality out of the figure. And so to have Jessica standing like she's got all her weight on one hip and she's got one hand in her pocket is really cool. I was going through some old Marvel news things and coincidentally found like an old interview with Brian Michael Bendis, like creator and writer for Jessica Jones, and they were talking about all these different things because Jessica Jones, she's got her new comic going on right now, and so they were talking about that, and one of the things that Bendis ends up bringing up is that she tried to be a superhero, right? I mean, because before she was doing this, she was Jewel, so she actually had a costume and all that stuff. She tried to be a superhero in the traditional way, and it just wasn't for her. It didn't really work out, right? So she's not, I guess, as impressed by it. So she does have this kind of like whatever, like apathetic kind of attitude, but how that really works for Jessica Jones, because if you can't have someone doing what Jessica does and having them like geek out over the fact that they're talking to Tony Stark or this or that, so because she's got this like been there done that attitude, it just makes it easier to just ignore all the spectacle and all the flashy stuff and just like focus on the details, and it's just one of the things that help her do her job amongst other things. But so she has that kind of attitude, and so this pose I think is really cool for trying to send that message of Jessica's attitude, short of, I don't know, coming with some empty bottle of whiskey or something like that. I guess they couldn't do that. Have her holding like a bottle, that would have been great. If she would have been holding like a tiny little bottle of some liquor, that would have been awesome. But no, I guess maybe they can't do that. But or a camera, that would have been cool if she could have been holding a camera. I do like when Funko Pops can maybe hold some kind of accessories, even if it's just like a gun or something. But something. That would have been a really nice touch. But her not having that's not a big deal. I think she's really great. I'm really happy. So for there to be a new Jessica Jones comic, and she's going to be in Defenders, and then get a season 2, and then she's going to have Marvel Legends figure coming out later on in the year. So for me as a Jessica Jones fan, there's a lot of nice little stuff, and so I'm glad that they also made this bobblehead. So I would totally recommend it. And if you're not really a fan of Jessica Jones and you're like, well, I mean, come on, this is not a costume, it's not very flashy, I would recommend reading Jessica Jones. The Netflix show, it's got some problems. I mean, it's got like maybe some pacing issues, but it's still very interesting. Her villain, Purple Man, like was still a very interesting villain. And so the show, I don't know, I still really like the show. I know, it could have been better here or there, and I hope those kinds of things are taken care of in the next season and so on. But all of the Netflix shows seem to kind of have something to do. I don't know, the pacing's always kind of weird. I don't know if that's because they just expect you to binge watch the whole thing, and those little things are not supposed to matter. But anyways, yeah, I would totally recommend getting into Jessica Jones because she is a very interesting character on her own, but then being in a relationship with Luke Cage, as well as having a kid together, and Jessica's got this thing where it's like, well, now I got this kid, and this kid's got to look to me or look up to me, and I'm not exactly all put together. So I don't know, I just really like the way Jessica is written. Her attitude, even she thinks she is not very good, or she thinks she's like a piece of crap. She's not, but she does not think highly of herself at times, and it's just such an interesting character. Instead of a character who's super popular and perfect and all that kind of thing, Jessica's very flawed, and I think that's what really attracts me to her. So I would definitely recommend picking up this bobblehead, or either and or getting into Jessica Jones comics or show or anything like that. Anyways, until next time, take care.